Yes. Welcome to our distinguished speaker for today, Sanjay Barnwal, and also to all the lovely participants who join us, every Wednesday. Many of them have joined us week after week. There are very few who are joined us new, but mostly there are people who have joined new, after who've been joining us regularly. And today, since this topic is using IDEA as smart analytics in SAP environment, we find that almost all of them are IDEA users. Who are joining us are IDEA users. Now, today is the 46th webinar in the Analytics Wednesday series, which SAP Audit has been holding. And as everybody knows, IDEA is the flagship product, though there are other solutions like LSA, which is a continuous control monitoring. There is a smart exporter, which is a ETL for SAP. There is Caseware working papers, which is an end-to-end solution for the external auditors. And there are a lot of training programs, the e-learning modules, which is offered by SAP Audit. Now, this program is supported by the Government of Canada Trade Commissioner Service. And we are fortunate today to have Sanjay Barnwal. Before I formally introduce him, I would like to say that he's a very down-to-earth person, but one of the few rare individuals who have got very expert knowledge, I would say, very deep knowledge about SAP systems and how to audit SAP systems. Because as an auditor, he's looking to audit SAP systems, and also he understands IDEA inside out. So it's a very lethal combination, because a person who understands SAP and who can audit SAP systems, there are very few individuals around the world, I would say, with his level of expertise, which is a master expertise, I would say. So with that, I would like to, formally introduce him. Sanjay Barnwal is IT manager, APEC and MEA with Electrolux Global. He is responsible for SAP Finance and Controlling module for 15 countries. Now, I think that's very creditable. He is a committed professional with distinguished professional qualifications. He's a chartered accountant and a cost accountant, 25 years of experience, professional expertise in audit, taxation, internal controls, finance, and SAP systems, design and implementation. He's a certified forensic auditor from ICAI, and he's also got SAP certifications in SAP S4HANA Finance and SAP Central Finance. He has close to 12 years of international working experience in countries like USA, Brunei, Philippines, Qatar, Dubai, Yemen. And his experience includes working as senior advisory consultant in SAP practice, managing large-scale SAP projects in different industries like oil and gas, shipping, pharma, shipbuilding, consumer durables, tractor, power, etc. His experience includes working with IBM, L&T Infotech, Taj Group of Hotels, McKinsey, Nakilat, and where he has handled projects for clients like GE, Total, Gillette, PSEG, Merck, Spension, John Deere, Damen Shipyards, Keppels Offshore Marine, Qatar Gas Transport Company, and so on. A lot of projects. And he has very good knowledge in utilizing Caseware IDEA Analytics for audit and has designed multiple macros for CA firm. He possesses very sound knowledge in review of policies and procedures and can provide guidance to clients in implementing, drafting them under QMS. And is currently working, as I earlier said, as IT manager for APEC and MEA for Electrolux Global, handling the 15 finance and controlling module for SAP from India. So I think really wonderful to have this kind of experience, global experience, multicultural, multi-geography, and specializing on SAP. So over to you, Sanjay, to enlighten us for the next 1 hour.
Thank you so much, Deepji, and thanks for talking eloquently about me. And I think I feel very privileged to give this knowledge sharing session today. And as you mentioned, I agree with you. Like having a very good knowledge of tools like IDEA. And if you understand how the data to be extracted, how the data works in your ERP system, then it gives you much more added advantage. So I'll try to last session, and I would prefer if you want, will it be interactive or like I just give the presentation?
I think what happens is, Sanjay, it is mainly you can give the presentation, at the end we can have question and answers.
Okay, sure. That's fine. So now I don't want without wasting any time. So let me share my screen and then are you able to see my screen, Deepji? Hello.
Yes, Sanjay ji, we can see your screen. We can. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. So as we discussed, the topic for today is using IDEA as a smart analytics in SAP environment. So what I thought, let's split the today's presentation in these three objectives. So first of all, what are the data analytics requirement I should have, right? The tool can be anything. So this requirement is most important and most critical. So I just want to give some brief about how when I was working in Qatar, we had Deloitte as our auditor. So and Deloitte uses ACL tool, and they had developed their in-house one tool called journal entry testing, and that J tool is based on ACL. And they developed certain macros, and they asked us like in Qatar, like, okay, give me data from different SAP tables for certain specific fields, and then they will generate reports. So when I shifted to India in 2018, I joined Chaturvedi and Shah that time. So I thought, why not? I learned about IDEA tool, so I got a good understanding. So I thought, why not to develop something like what Deloitte did? So first, that time when I was working with the Deloitte team, they had shared me quite information like what are the things they are doing. So using that as a reference, I built similar analytics for GL, so journal entry testing tool. So similarly in IDEA, I did that. And thanks to Jairamji and his team like Saurabh. So they also helped me a lot. But then I thought, why steps beyond? So then I discussed with in procurement or revenue audit, what are the other analytics you want to see? And based on that, then we finalized different analytics which we should generate. Then I thought, okay, this is the first is requirement. Then what is my target system here? So I'll be talking mainly SAP because I'm very familiar with that. So I wanted to give you all some brief about SAP and how the SAP, its different modules work, and the data in SAP, how they are captured into different tables. And finally, I'll talk about how we leveraged IDEA to generate these analytics using the data from SAP. So these are the three top objectives I split. So let me explain you first the GL data analytics. So as I mentioned, so these are the 13 GL analytics we identified. Like, first we wanted to do the trial balance reconciliation with GL line item database system. So when you, how do you do the reconciliation and how do you get the details? So that we identified. Then we wanted to do gap detection in documents. So when, for example, you have a vendor invoice or JV voucher, is there any gap in that? When you are generating thousands of documents or millions of documents, so how it is possible to easily create this gap detection? Then third, one second, let me just. So third one, then we thought, okay, seldom used account. So we thought, okay, some many times user identify some unique account and they will post some adjustment entries which is not regularly used. So identify those seldom used accounts, and we also built some rules, how these seldom used accounts should be identified. I'll discuss in more detail on how I built a logic to get the data from idea for these all different analytics. Then users who seldom post entries. So you will be having scenarios like finance manager who wants to do certain entries, certain adjustment entries himself. So identifies certain users, identifies those users who don't post entries regularly. So then you'd see whether you need to do further check or not. This one was another very interesting thing. Entries containing keywords of interest. So in audit, we see like, gifts, for example, or charity or donation. So again, when you have hundreds of thousands of records, so identifying records with these keywords of interest is very interesting to get, and then you further do the review. Next, we identified journal entries with integrity. So these again, these are the all different analytics we identified: backdated and predated journal entries. Backdated, basically, we thought, okay, many times we have seen client, you have done the audit up to March, for example, and in the month of May, they go and post transactions in March. So how do we identify those types of entries? Predated is like I'm in the month of January and I post transactions in the month of March. So that is predated. So again, generate transactions which meet these two criteria. So then entries posted on Sunday, entries posted on public holidays. So again, all these may not, say that, okay, something wrong is happening, but these give you alert, okay, to review and then discuss with the clients. Large revenue posted before quarter end. So we have seen like many clients will try to, post revenue just before the quarter end, and then they will do the reversal. So large revenue posted and then reversal. Before quarter end, after quarter end. Then potential duplicate vendor invoices, entries posted during odd working hours. So in this line, I was looking into that transactions which got posted very late, say maybe 1 o'clock in the morning or after normal working hours. So how many transactions are there and what are the nature of those transactions? Is it a routine type or someone was doing some mischief? So these were the journal data analytics we had identified. And again, it's not comprehensive. So there may be some additional entries you might have seen in your audit, and you may want to do further analytics. So what I did, based on all these 13 parameters, I created a macro using IDEA, and then built ask the business user that audit team that get the data from client and then apply that macro. So system will generate all these 13 reports in Excel. So I'll discuss more in detail when I come to idea section. Then in procurement, we thought, okay, and here we had a 21 procurement data analytics we did. So like employee and vendor having same bank account. So we have this, fuzzy duplicate and all join the options in the idea. So we wanted to know whether employee is having some relationship with the vendor. If then generate those reports. So first identifying the bank account and then generate the transactions which have been posted using the employee and vendor this relationship. Then like more than one vendor having same bank account. So these are the different, same vendor having multiple master data with PO detail. PO details of vendors having same bank accounts. So these are different types of analytics we built. PO and contract pending for release for more than 90 days. So you created a purchase order, but these are, some of them may not be from a start audit perspective, but from internal audit, then it becomes critical. Why PO got created, but it's not yet released. So PO and contract created without purchase requisition. in some company, they may not use it, but if they are using, then what is the control? And do you have a policy that PO must be created with the purchase requisition? If it is getting created without purchase requisition, then you have a lack of control there. PO created without a release strategy. So again, this talks about lack of control. So this is more from SAP perspective. PO created without GR-based invoice verification check. So what we talk about in SAP three-way match. So you should have a purchase order, you should have a goods receipt, and then invoice. But that system allow you to create a PO without GR. So we wanted to test that. Then purchase orders created on public holidays. So what are the quantum of that? And is there any some suspicion you can have cost on? This was very interesting one. Multiple PO for value split by same user on same day for same material. So what we discussed, like, okay, in a company, you may have a policy that for after a certain value, PO should be released by some other person. So for example, 100,000 rupees PO should be released by person A, and beyond 100,000 should be released by his boss, person B. So what the buyer will do, he will split the purchase order into two, and then he will so that it does not go to person B. So in SAP, how do I generate the data which will meet this criteria? And then in some client, we found it very interesting. And when we presented to CFO, they were a bit surprised. Because for same material, you are creating for same vendor multiple PO on the same day, then question needs to be raised. Then we had the same material procured from different vendors with different price on same day. So this is again questionable transactions. And this was just analysis, like you are buying a material from same vendor at different prices. So again, all these 21 analytics we built using data from SAP. There are lots of tables I used to generate the all these data from SAP, and then build the macro so that these reports can automatically be created. Maybe later on I'll check if this presentation will be needed. I can share. So I don't want to. I'm not going in very deep detail for each of these analytics, but just giving you some overview of what we had done. Then finally, in revenue side, so we built 20 revenue data analytics. So we started with first customer aging analysis. Then we identified customers where free of charge sales order has happened. In some company, this might not be applicable. They may not have a free of charge related sales. So it will ignore, that macro will ignore. Then we wanted to identify that customer sales missing. So you have a regular sale, but for some customer sales were missing in a particular month. So was there any specific reason? Then duplicate customer master record. How many duplicate customer master record we have? So the problem with a duplicate customer master record is you beat the credit limit. So if you have a credit limit for say 10 lakhs and then you create multiple customers, so each customer will get that credit limit. So that gets defeated. And then we wanted to know, okay, these are the duplicate customer masters. So how much sales or transaction have happened with these duplicate customers? Similarly, like we built for the purchase order, like for same material, multiple PO created. So similarly, for same customer, same material, is there any multiple sale order created on same day? We wanted to check. Then we also wanted to check month-wise price comparison for same material and same customer. So is there a big price difference for the same customer month after month for the same material? Then is there any gaps in billing documents? you have a material delivered, but billing is pending. So if it's a reasonable days, then it's fine. But if the billing is pending for quite long, then investigate. Then difference in sales orders and billed value. This is again control issue. So you have created a sales order for 100,000, and does system allow you to go beyond that or not? Sales order created during odd working time or created on public holidays. Likewise, this is another very interesting quantity confirmed more than sales order quantity. So do we have this type of scenario? And if yes, then definitely this is a lack of control. One thing what audit team wanted to know, like in customer accounts, am I posting revenue transactions using finance module? So did all the JVs which have been posted in customers and sales invoices posted through finance, these two analytics we did. Then summary of what is the total receipts from customers, top 10 customers and top 10 customers for invoices. So these are the analytics we created for revenue. And again, as I mentioned, these were created based on the inputs from team in Chaturvedi and Shah and my own understanding. And other audit firm may have, based on their experience, they may want to do some more test or some different tests. So this is what the requirement part I was talking about. So now I just want to take you through SAP. So, as we understand,
Sanjay, sorry to disturb you, interrupt you, but you wanted an interactive session. So of course we'll take the questions at the end, but it is related to test. So there is one question from Satish. Maybe we can take it up now.
Okay.
He is talking about, with respect to test 12 in procurement, same material, different vendor and different price. Say a pen is procured, a simple ₹5 pen and ₹3,000 pen, say cross. However, same material code is given as pen. The test will fail. The person handling customer master says, how many codes can we create? Any thoughts on this? If you have the same material code, it is a pen, it is a generic. You give a material code which is generic. What Satish is asking is you give a generic material code. In many companies, it happens for consumables. And you do not give a specific material code that, how will it work? Because it's very tricky. Because similarly for bearings, usually companies give different material code for different bearing. SKF bearing, the same will be different. ZKL will be different. But if somebody gives generic, then it will not be possible to run the test.
Agree with you, and it's a good question. See, what I would see, like most important part is materiality, right? So these procurement, is it material for me first? Because when we talk about spare parts, so from the overall consumption perspective, if it is material, then I need to find out a way how to do these analytics. Because and also then I need to add some more fields. So right now I have built this one. So again, as I mentioned, this is based on my understanding and my team's requirement. But what Satish sir is saying, right, like we can add some other parameters. So I can include data from material master table to identify some additional characteristic which will differentiate not differentiate, which will say that, okay, this is a bearing. Whether it is called a SKF bearing or some other company's bearing, but I want to include all of them in my analysis. So again, that can be built. But you need the requirement, you need the detailed requirement, and then you see the materiality, whether it is a huge impact, and then why not?
And sure, I think what Satish is saying is, thanks, creating more fields could be a good way to control. So depends on the materiality. I think what is coming out is it material to the business? If it is material to the business, then maybe you have to create fields to ensure that you capture that information so that it can be analyzed accordingly.
Correct, yes. And probably fields will be available. So I need to use certain fields which can, meet this requirement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so because master data, material master data has got, I'll show in SAP slides. So there
Yes.
are lots of fields available. So we can utilize, and I don't see there should be any challenge. Just need to add one additional step to take into consideration this part.
Sure.
Yeah. Any other question?
No, I think we can proceed, please.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so just wanted to talk about SAP. So before this is the standard definition, but what I see or hear SAP full form based is sab aadmi pareshan. So uh, uh, why we use that terminology? Because when you implement SAP and if you don't get proper training, if you don't get good support, then people get huge challenge. So that's why we say sab aadmi pareshan, SAP say. So SAP was started by 5 former IBM employees way back in 72, and SAP started its journey with they call it SAP R1, then R2, R3. So these are all different layer of structure. So right now SAP S4 HANA is their main product, and but many clients in India and even across the globe, they are still using the old S4 HANA brings you lots like Fury and all. People interact in a much better way. But yeah, SAP ECC6 and SAP S4 HANA, these are the two primary product of SAP currently. And as we can see, more than 80% of Fortune 500 companies are using one or other SAP applications. Recently, Google also shifted from Oracle to SAP. So what I wanted to give, explain you that what are the main SAP modules? There are close to 14 plus module, but I wanted to speak primarily the modules which, as an auditor, we want to be interested, not all the modules. So first and most critical module for me is finance and controlling. So as the name suggests, I'm having more details also in the next slide, particularly for this module. But finance and controlling is the area. So finance is mainly for the legal reporting perspective, and controlling is for the management reporting perspective. So this is one primary module where, as an auditor, we are more focused. Then you have a HR related module, and in this module you will have all the salary related processing from auditor perspective I'm talking about. So all the payroll related transactions will be available in this module. So you need to know how to get the data if you want to do some review of HR processes. Then another very critical module is called sales and distribution module. And within the sales and distribution, you have a sub module like delivery, billing, sales order, likewise shipping. Then you have materials management, another important module. In this, you will have purchase order related activity, contracts management. Then you will have your logistics related. Logistics works between both these modules. So in case of materials management, you will do the receipt, and in case of sales and distribution, you will do the goods issue. So that's the what. But logistics module work between both these modules. Then another important module is production planning. So why I have taken this one? Because lots of our clients are manufacturing industry. So we need to know okay, within the production planning, you will be having BOM. BOM is very important part because earlier I showed you those three analytics. So I am also working on the production related analytics. So I have a BOM according to which I should do the consumption of components. But am I actually doing like that, or there are lots of variances? So I work with certain clients in India, and there were lots of issues. So within that area. So as an auditor, I think we should also learn something how the production side works, what is BOM and how the BOM gets consumed and what are the accounting entries it creates. So that's the purpose I did production planning here. Okay, so I removed that finance part. So let me explain. Actually, I thought I had a finance controlling sub-module also, but then it looks like I removed that. So I was having like sub-modules within finance and controlling, like AR, AP, GL, those sub-module, but probably I wanted to focus on, so didn't want to get too much deep into SAP. So let's talk about SAP tables and data storage, because when we are talking about idea, right? So idea needs data. So how the data in SAP is saved? So SAP, whenever we do any transactions, whether it is a master data creation or postings of transactions, so it gets saved into SAP tables. And transaction can be master data or transactional data. Data can be master data or transaction. How do we access these SAP table? We use transaction code SC16 or SC16N. And data in SAP, normally you will have rows and columns. So you will have some, primary field like client, company code and all. And then you will have line level, all the transactions flowing into. So this is just very brief about how the SAP tables and data storage, what is SAP tables and data storage. So I'll explain you more in the next slide. So these are the finance, when I was working on finance analytics. So these were the important tables I used. And I have also put fields I had used. So as you can see, BKPF, BSEG, SKAT, user underscore ADDR. So these are all tables within SAP. BKPF stores accounting document header records. So whenever we post any transaction in SAP, for example, accrual I have posted. So it will create one record in BKPF. And suppose in that document, I have 10 line items. So all these line items will flow to BSEG table. So it is called document line item table. There will be common field like client, company code in both the tables. So document number, date, date will not be here, but fiscal year will be here. So then you can use SAP, idea to create the relationship using the document number and year field. As you can see, BKPF has 133 fields, and I took 18 fields out of these 133. So you need to run through all the fields and see what are the important fields for you to do the analysis, what you wanted to do in this analytics of finance one. Similarly, BSEG contains 354 fields, but we just used 19 fields out of that. SKAT is a GL master record table. So it contains like GL name, GL number, chart of accounts, what language, likewise. So it just has 7 fields and we used 4 fields out of that. User ADDR is the table as you can think of. It contains user related information. So user ID, username, which department he works. So it has 19 fields and we just use 5 fields out of that. So like what earlier I mentioned, so tables have got a lot of fields, but depending on your need, you can add some additional fields if you need, like what Satish sir was saying, right? So we can incorporate some more fields if some additional data analytics is needed. Then in case of procurement tables, I used these many tables. Procurement analytics, I used these many tables. So LFA1, LFBK. So LFA1 and LFBK, these are 2 master record related data. So it contains LFA1 contain name, address, GST number, like type of fields. So here you can see it had 156 fields. We used 14 fields only. In case of LFBK, this contains bank account related information. So out of 17, I use 6. Then EKKO, EKPO, EKB, EKBZ, and EKET. These are all PO related information table. So EKKO contains your header record, and EKPO contains line item related information. So like we saw BKPF, B6, so this is similar type of thing. So you will have one record in EKKO and multiple line items for the same record in EKPO. EKB is very interesting table. It contains purchase order history. So if you want to know, okay, this PO got created, so whether invoice has been done for this PO or not. So you can get that information from EKB table. So EKBZ is related to delivery cost. So when we create a purchase order, so if there is any transportation, customs duty related conditions, then that data comes into this table. EKET contains schedule, date, delivery date related information. So I wanted to know, like, okay, the PO got created with the delivery date of say 1st of April or 1st of February, sorry, in the past, and whether the delivery has happened or not. So how many days it's taking from the delivery date in the PO and actual delivery. So I use this table for that. And you can see out of 327, only 16 fields I used. 195, only 24 fields I used. These three tables are related to HR master. So many company they don't use HR module in SAP. So then you will not be able to use this field. But what you can do, you can ask your client to provide employee related information from whatever system they use, then their name, address, bank account details. So then this analytics can still be carried out. So as you can see, PA0002 contains employees' personal data information. PA0006 contains address related information. And finally, this PA0009 bank account. So I was comparing vendor and employee bank account. So I used these two tables, LFBK and PA0009. After I compared PA0002 to LFA1 to get the same employee and vendor number name. Then for revenue table, revenue analytics, I used these tables. So like we had LFA1, so for customer, it is called KNA1. And then like we had EKKO, EKPO, we have VVAK, VVAP. This is sales order related header record and sales order related line item. Then VVRK and VVRP is billing document related header and line item data. In sales, you have a bit different structure compared to purchase order side. And like purchase order, here also we have a schedule line table, VVEP. And BSID, like in for purchase side, we had BSIK. This contains open item record in customer, and BSIK contain vendor open item record. Here also you can see KNA1 has got 238 field, but I use just 17. 386, just 14, likewise. So, see, one very critical thing is to identify the different tables which are needed to do your analytics. Then identifying the fields and the relationship between all these fields you can relate to these different tables. That you will be getting when you have very good understanding of SAP. So, and this is where the critical thing comes up, like, how do I know which table and which field I need to use to compare my revenue analytics, what I did. So once you get very good exposure into SAP, then it becomes very easy. So I think this is the last slide for, this is the last slide for SAP part. So now I'll get into idea. How did I leverage that tables and the how did I leverage idea to generate the analytics, the requirement what I showed you earlier. So, Deepji, do you want to have any question, or I can move to for the idea
No, I
part?
think you can proceed because I don't find any questions there. So please proceed, and we can take questions at the end.
Okay, thanks. So, okay, this is your very known part. So, as we know, these are the important features within IDEA. We have gap detection, duplicate key detection, duplicate key exclusion. So I have just put some of the features, important features what we have. There were a lot of other things I used. Even in the formula, I used a lot of things which IDEA provides me. So and then based on all these things, I built the analytics. So what I thought, the journal analytics, what I showed earlier. So I'll just explain how did I build the all individual those analytics, and how IDEA helped me. So first, I wanted to give you like what I'm doing here: trial balance reconciliation with GL line items. So I'm comparing that. Okay, in the SAP you have say 100, maybe thousands of GL account, and each GL account will have their own hundreds and thousands of line items. So total all these line items, and then get GL account wise summary, and then you compare with trial balance. So here I just used a summary features of summarization features of IDEA to do the summary at the GL account level, and then I just compared with the trial balance. So summarization, and then using the link between your GL account in both trial balance and GL line item, which I got from BKPF and BSAVE. So the mapping of GL master data between these two database. Then second test I had was like gap detection in documents. So we wanted to know whether any gap in accounting document is there or not. So first, the problem was like in SAP we use document type, and each document type has got document number assigned. However, same document number were mapped with multiple document types. So then I concatenated doc type and doc number first, and then I use the gap detection within IDEA. Seldom used accounts, here we wanted to identify that GL accounts where very rarely transaction get posted. So which we put a limit like, okay, so only those GL where you have up to 10 transactions during the audit period. And then we use summarization feature of IDEA to generate this report. Users who seldom post entries. So again, here also we thought, okay, we will see all users who have posted maybe 10 or less entries during the audit period. Again, these things you can change, like if you want to make 10 to 20 or whatever number, that can be modified. And then we use summarization at user ID level. Journal entries with integrity issues was like we wanted to see whether there are transactions which does not have any information in the header reference field or header text or line item text. So we applied this direct extraction criteria for all these different fields on multiple fields, and then we got this report. Backdated and predated journal entries, we decided that, okay, generate all the reports which has got, okay, before just wanted to tell you how did we get that backdated and predated. In SAP, when we post any transaction, so it contains 3 dates. One is called entry date, second is posting date, and third is document date. So entry date is nothing but the system date. So today, if I'm entering any transaction, so it will record today's date. Posting date is the date when it affects your accounting. So if I'm using entering transaction today with the posting date of 15th of April, then 15th of April will be my in April that impact will go to my P&L or balance sheet. And document date is used mainly to record, like if it's a vendor invoice. So that vendor invoice date you enter as a document date. So we decided, okay, entry date, which is greater than 15 days compared to posting date. Then it means you just posted a transaction 15 days backdated. Generate all the line item which has got this, which meets this criteria. And for pre-dated, we decided, okay, entry date is less than 5 days. So we got examples like in the month of March, transactions were posted for October. So a lot of these type of transactions we got. So both ways. And then we applied direct extraction criteria and idea. Entries posted on Sunday. We just wanted to see what type of transactions are getting posted. So again, we used entry date and then day of the week criteria in idea we applied to generate this test result. Entries posted on holidays. So we identified these as holidays: 15th of August, 2nd October, 25th December, 26th January. Again, this can be modified if you want to include some other dates. And then list criteria and idea I used to generate this entry. Large revenue posted before quarter end. Here we decided, okay, depending on the client. So I'm just giving you one example. We thought, okay, if it's a small client, then we will use 100,000 rupees, and we'll check if transactions are posted within 10th before end of quarter. So if I'm doing audit for March quarter, so I will check from 21st to 31st March. If any entry posted above 100,000, and I use direct extraction criteria using between date. So I got this report using this feature. Similarly, large revenue debits after quarter end, we decided, okay, so if the transactions are reversed, so within 10th after end of quarter for the same amount, then you generate. So I like, for example, in previous on 1st of April to 10th of April, generate all the revenue lines which got reversed. And again, I use this direct extraction between date criteria in idea. Another test which we did was potential duplicate vendor invoices. So we wanted to know if there are duplicate vendor invoices posted into SAP. Actually, in SAP, you already have the control, but if client has not implemented this duplicate vendor invoice control, then we can test it. And for that, we used this, put these fields to same vendor, same invoice number, invoice date, currency, invoice amount. If all these are same, then create a duplicate vendor invoice report. And I used duplicate key exclusion criteria in idea. Okay, so that's all I had. What I did for the idea for the GL analytics, and then as Deepji mentioned, right? So I published these analytics which I built using idea, and I created a macro. I published on YouTube also for all these three with the details of tables, fields, everything. Yeah. So Deepji, that's all I have.
I think it's a good effort, though many of the it's a lot of effort, and I think it is freely available to each one of us. There is a comment that many people you want to use SAP like Tele. So yeah, if you want to build tests, but let me tell you, if you look at a lot of implementations across the country, you will find basics are missing. Basic validity checks have not been put at the SAP. Forget about idea. People have not put basic validity checks in SAP. A lot of algorithms, continuous monitoring can be built within SAP itself, which are missing. or which can be used by the finance function or by the internal audit function. So it is miles and miles of, before people have to reach the destination. So SAP is like, he mentioned, it's a troublesome implementation exercise. And at the end of it also, you find that, you can do lots more each year and keep on progressing. So I think, can you share the presentation? I think we don't send out presentations, but we can, he's given the links where you can go and get all the scripts and other things like that. But it will be shared. This presentation will appear on the somehow YouTube channel. So I think that's available. What Satish is saying is wonderful presentation. The other name of knowledge is Sanjay, of course, because it's a very short presentation, but it brings out the knowledge base which is there. First of all, people struggle with the table names of what is stored where in SAP. That is first. So knowledge about SAP. Then people struggle how to actually make the scripts in idea, and then to link both together and get the things done, and to prepare a test. Then think about the test. What is required by the organization? Because each organization may require something different. So, what is required by the internal audit teams, and then make that available is something very, great. So, I think this is a very insightful presentation. I don't see any questions, Sanjay. What we'll do is we'll post this videos there, but you can again show the slide where you have the link, where people can get the scripts, Maybe you can just display that screen again once more. And
I can share on the chat also if you want.
Yes, please share it on the chat so that, people would know where to go to look for the ready-made scripts which you have made, and, the table information which is there.
Okay. Actually,
if you just type in Sama YouTube channel, you will get the link for the channel. And here is the GL analytics, the procurement analytics, and revenue analytics on YouTube. The link which is there, which I think has just been posted for everyone.
Yeah.
I think what I'll do is I'll request Jairam that maybe after this session, he'll send out these. I think earlier you had sent a mail with all these links. So with these 3 links, he'll just make a small note that these are created by Sanjay Barnwal and send it out to the entire Google group of 1,000 people who are the idea users in the territory. So they'll all get the links, and they'll get these links where they can go to and get it. So I think, Jairam, you could just create a post in the Google group for all the idea users where they can get benefit of this GL analytics, procurement analytics, and revenue analytics. Of course, they can tweak around with the analytics, with these scripts to suit it to their respective requirement. Since there are no other questions, Sanjay, I just want to thank you for this lovely presentation, insightful presentation. Sounds very simple, but difficult to make the scripts. If somebody is to go out and make these scripts, it will take them a few months and they'll struggle with it, because people usually make 10, 15, 20 scripts in 6 months and start using them, because you have to validate it. You have to weed out the false positives. You have to work on data and make it possible. So I think that's really commendable to have all these ready-made scripts which are there for free. So, people can start using them. So thanks a lot, Sanjay, for this presentation. And if any of you want to get in touch with Sanjay, or you can write to us, you can directly get in touch with Sanjay. Sanjay, you could also type out your email ID on this chat box so that if somebody wants, they can write to you directly.
Okay. Actually, I'm very interested, on my channel, I publish lots of SAP related knowledge sharing video, also how to do audit in vendor inventory, accounts payable. And I look forward for queries from people like, okay, so if anyone wants to know more about SAP or anything, then yes, they can connect with me on this through this email ID. Or
Sure.
through you also. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you very much, Sanjay. So on behalf of SAP Audit, let me thank you for agreeing to be with us and share this openly with us, share this knowledge openly with everyone. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So much. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.